I don't drink. No vaping. Fasting. Gut health. My teeth are my babies. Sunscreen. Stretching is so important. You have no idea how many people. Okay, hi, hello. I am G, or you also know me as Mama G. And today I wanted to share some of the tips and tricks and ways that I live my life in order to age really well. Honestly, I'm a milf. I'm gonna be a milf. Mindfully invested in living fully, baby. As a 24-year-old, you know, what does she know? Asian not raised, and so my genetics are already pretty solid, but I think it's super important to share the things that I've learned so far in my life because I plan on kind of hacking the system and looking like the same up until I'm like 50. Wallahi, I only have this body. Not taking care of it would be a hindrance on my ability to explore and express and adventure the way that I want to when I am a gilf. So, without further ado, let me share some of my tips. Some of my tips and tricks. So some of the most obvious things that I do to not age. I don't drink. I don't like drinking alcohol. I'm Asian, so I don't have the enzymes to properly metabolize and digest it. So I get like red and rashy and headachy and throbby. Hi, this is post-editing Baby G, and I just wanted to say that, wow, I completely forgot to actually talk about the negative impact of alcohol. I probably couldn't do it the same justice as Mr. Andrew Huberman can, so I highly recommend you watch this video or listen to his podcast because this is the most informative way that you can understand why alcohol is so not it. Okay, I love you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the video. Mwah. When I would much prefer just, you know, being sober and going to bed at a reasonable hour because I love my sleep. Well, depending. Sometimes I'd like to pull all-nighters. Which leads me to the next point. Prioritize getting a full night's rest. There's specific things that get flushed out of your mind when you sleep. Like, you need that period of rest in order to regenerate, rejuvenate, and refresh your mind. And when you don't do it, a lot of sludge still remains in your brain. It's kind of like flushing the toilet every night. No vaping or smoking tobacco. This is a hard one. I will admit that having a nice herbal blend cigarette with organic tobacco is so nice. Every now and again to just smoke and be present with my friends, but I know that it isn't good for me. Nicotine is an addictive drug. It's not good. I've heard stories about, you know, your spinal fluid being impacted negatively by nicotine, and I don't smoke every single day. I understand that at the end of the day it's a bad habit that I will eventually want to break. So another obvious one is fitness and diet. Holy moly. Hey, me again. Sorry, it's so funny to me because when I'm in flow state talking about this stuff, it's really easy for me to forget certain points that are actually really incredibly important. I'm going to be linking all the resources and scientific journals down below, but one thing that I really wanted to express is that exercise can be considered an equal form of treatment for certain cases of depression. In certain severe instances, anti-depressants and medication is really important, but dude, the mental health benefits of exercise is astronomical, and I highly recommend because basically it's like doing free drugs. Dude, do it. Do the drugs. At this point in my life, physical activity has become a major priority. Knowing that the mental benefits that I receive after working out consistently, it's such a drive for me to want to continue doing it. But also, like, the confidence that I receive from being fit and being able to like do a pull-up or pick something up or do a push-up, it's otherworldly. Like, I love being physically active and I love the feeling of being able to push my body to limits that I didn't even know I was capable of. Like, there was a time in my life where I couldn't even do a freaking push-up, and now chaturanga is like my favorite move. So there was a point in my life where I hated going to the gym. I started doing things that I actually loved and adored. So I started doing acro yoga, I started doing yoga, and I started doing rock climbing. But doing things that you genuinely love that's physically taxing, it becomes the benchmark of expressing negativity. It becomes a positive outlet as opposed to eating crappy food or smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol. Physical fitness as your mode of expression, you're set, you're fucking set. Physical fitness is so important, and obviously diet is part of that, because when you eat like garbaggio, you feel like garbaggio, and knowing what it's like to feel great in my body, it's so easy for me to prioritize wanting to eat a head of broccoli over a bowl of cereal. As much as it's great in the moment, I know for a fact that it's just going to be this endless and insatiable desire to keep eating sugar, and I still love me some sugar, but it's not the only thing that I buy when I go to the grocery store now. It's always like an 80-20, 80% vegetables, 20% protein kind of type deal, where I always try to have at least a bowl of vegetables a day, at least a couple of vegetables every single day, like peppers and cucumbers and all that stuff. I don't condone drug use, but I'm just saying, psilocybin mushrooms create more neural pathways in the brain. I'm just saying. Yoga is life. Stretching is so important for your body, but you have no idea how many people I hear in their 30s complaining, oh, my back, my knees, my shoulders, my arms, my neck. Being physically fit is so important so that I know that I can do things for long extended periods of time without stressing or fretting or being unable to, because you best believe when I'm pregnant, I'm gonna be lifting weights and doing things that are physically active because I know that it's so healthy for you. It's so healthy for you. It's a myth that you shouldn't be picking up heavy things when you're pregnant. It's a myth. I'm gonna be weightlifting, baby. Like, mobility exercises. Having the knowledge to move your hips, your spine, your shoulder, like everything in your body. Just watching videos about mobility exercises, because the way that we exercise our body now is going to be so important for the health and longevity of our muscles and bones in the future. If you don't use it, you lose it. And it's true, like, you'll experience muscle atrophy where your body can't do certain things anymore because it doesn't have the strength to. I'm working more and more on ankle strength. Like, a lot of people do passive stretching where they just stretch their body in a relaxed way, but it's really important to activate those muscles and stretch them so that you build that strength, so that I'm not prone to spraining my ankle, so I'm not prone to throwing my back out in the future. So having a lot of these active mobility exercises is super important for me to build strength in my body, because there's no way in heck I'm gonna be a gilf who can do a backflip and the splits. Like, I'm gonna be that beach, because I'm gonna still be so proactive with my grandchildren. Like, that's so important for me. I don't want to be in my old age needing someone's help to get down like a steep stair. That to me is horrifying. I feel so bad for people who are in their 60s or 70s who aren't even able to walk down a flight of stairs without assistance. And yeah, I absolutely refuse. I still want to be going on hikes when I'm old. Okay, next. So this for me is more intuitive. I need to do a little bit more research about this, but I actually really limit my intake of pharmaceutical drugs. I don't think that it's important for me to take Advil. I'm sure that there's so many other holistic modalities to implement if I have a headache, and I'm thankful that I don't suffer from migraines. So much respect for people who are doing that, and like, by all means, take all the Advils you need. But for me, I understand that it's coming from a more holistic place, that I need to figure out what's going on if I have a headache, i.e. I need to drink more water, I need to be more mindful about my consumption, what I'm eating, what I'm putting in my body, how much sleep I'm getting. There's so many other aspects to my lifestyle that are conducive to health that aren't going to be fixed with a band-aid solution like a pill. So for me, pharmaceutical drugs are the last resort whenever it comes to illness. We need to reduce our stress levels. There's a reason why heart disease is one of the #1 contributors to death in the world. It's one of the leading causes. Meditating helps reduce stress levels, and a reduction in stress levels allows you to feel way more present, way less anxiety, the ability to just be content in life. What else in life is there than to feel content and at peace, you know? That's where I want to be at until I'm like in my old age. Sunscreen. I think that sunscreen is great. I think that it's important to protect my tattoos from aging and for my skin to stay in that Asian don't raisin phase for a lifetime, because the sun is killing us, dude. Like, straight the frick up. And I know we're all obsessed with getting tan and having this bronze, beautiful, goddess-like glow, but it's still affecting us in a negative way. I have moles that I didn't realize I had. Of course, I'm gonna be wearing some sunscreen when I need to, and moisturizing obviously is contributing to that. It helps with the elasticity. When we're young, the amount of cells that are dying versus the cells that are regenerating is like, more cells are regenerating than cells that are dying. But the older that we get, more cells are dying than they are regenerating. So of course your skin cells start to sag and the elasticity isn't as potent because we're aging. So moisturizing helps with that. Highly recommend. Always, every time I shower, I always moisturize. fasting. Fasting is one of the greatest things to mankind. Prehistorically, like before we established farming and groceries, human beings would have to hunt for their food, and they would spend probably days without anything before they would get their next meal. And that has translated into our body structure now, where we really benefit from having a completely empty stomach, because there's, I think it's called, I forgot what it's called, I'll put it right here, but essentially your body, your gut is able to regenerate itself when it's completely empty. Think about how when you're digesting food, it needs to churn and break it down and convert that all into energy. But when you don't have anything in the stomach to do, your body's like, oh, I have nothing else to do, might as well like restore and rejuvenate and get to work on what's going on in there. And it's crazy amazing for you. I did I think a 3-day fast, like 3 full days without eating anything, and let me tell you, it was, up until that point in my life, that was the most bliss I had ever experienced. I was so at peace. There was no monkey mind. I wasn't overthinking because I had no extra energy to do that. There was no sugar running through my body, so I was constantly just like zen, man. I was peacing. I was just chilling. Highly recommend fasting. It's next level. Fasting is also really, really good for your gut health. We need to be more educated on gut health, because your gut is like your second brain. There's a reason why people are like, listen to your gut health. Your gut is a huge contributor to your overall health. I make it a really big point to eat kefir and kimchi, organic of course, almost every single day, knowing that it has probiotics. It has healthy gut bacteria to help with my biome and to influence positive ecosystem within my body. Because, man, gut health is health, period. My teeth are my babies. Like, they're my freaking babies. I floss every single night. For people who neglect their teeth, they end up with a fat bill a few years down the line where they have to do an emergency root canal for $5,000. It sucks. Canada does not have universal dental care. You need to have a job or be part of a school or have insurance. But imagine not having that and having to pay $5,000 out of pocket to get a couple of teeth out, a couple of rotting teeth out. And it's so close to your brain, dude. You need to take care of your teeth in order to ensure overall longevity and health. So for me, I bought an electric toothbrush and I floss every single day, and I scrape my tongue to get rid of that tongue bacteria, because this is, I feel, as equally important as every other aspect of my body. Your teeth. Oh, and also get routine checkups. I know the dentist sucks ass, but you need to get your teeth checked like at least once a year, or like compare $50 to $100 for a routine checkup versus $3,000 every 5 years, and they have to go in and remove teeth and go through a procedure as opposed to getting a couple fillings every year or so. Like, it's worth it. It is so worth it. Another really big biohacking trick that I love, sauna and cold plunge, and breath work, of course, implementing those things. There's this place in downtown Toronto that I love. A friend of mine is one of the founders. It's called Othership, and it's this incredible place in downtown Toronto where there's a big sauna where a bunch of people come and commingle and communicate, and sometimes they have a facilitator leading a breathwork in there. And then there's a cold plunge where there's 3 tubs filled with freezing ice cold water that you just rotate from. You take a shower in between, but you go from sauna, you sweat, to going into the cold plunge and just shocking your system in the best way. Putting your body in a state of deliberate stress and being able to actually relax yourself on your own is so amazing, because this reduces stress levels. It gives you the ability to actually mitigate and calm yourself down deliberately, and it's so fun. One day I will own a sauna, but for now this will totally suffice. And last but not least, the one tip and trick that I have to age well is to be present. And in this very, very moment, you will never be this age again. And I think it's so important for us to take these moments to really reflect and be grateful for where we're at and the age that we're at, so that we don't end up regretting and festering in the past when we're older, being like, oh, I wish I enjoyed my childhood more, oh, I wish I enjoyed my 20s more, as opposed to being in your 20s and kind of taking a mental snapshot, being like, wow, I'm 24 years old. I'm sitting in this room. I am making a video, doing what I love. I am so young. I'm so grateful. Gratitude, and I also heard forgiveness, but gratitude is one of the highest frequencies, the highest vibrations, and in that it's going to really enable us to be in the most heart-centered, present experience in our lives. So I think it's really important to remember and recognize where we're at and to just be thankful. Be so thankful, because it really, in our own ways, we are so privileged and so lucky to be where we're at. So yeah, I hope some of this information resonated with you. These are some, if not all, of the things that I'm implementing into my life so that I can still remain a gilf, a milf, a pilf, and I hope that you can take some of this information for yourself and absorb it, do what you want to do with it, because we only have one body, you know? We only have this body, and it's so important to take care of it. So if you have more tips and tricks, please, I would love to hear them. Please share them below. I want to explore more of biohacking, so please share your own resources. If there's anything here that you think is misleading or that you don't believe is true, please feel free to negate them in the comments. Tell me what's up. Tell me how I can educate myself better, because I'm always willing to learn. If this resonated with you, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next Monday. Mwah! I love you.